Roberto. It is amazing to have you on my podcast. Very glad that you're here.
Good evening to you then, because here is 9:30 in the night.
Yes,
and
very
it's
cool.
an honor to be your guest. Thank you for having me in your show.
Thank you very much. So yeah, just kind of as we talked about, we're gonna get to know your business a bit. I know you've had some big, fun entrepreneurial journeys. I heard that you've pretty much never been an employee, always the employer. And that is kind of revolutionary in my world. So we're gonna delve into that a bit and talk about your successes. And then, of course, where are you going from here? Because you are a man of growth. I'm sure there's a vision for what's next.
Absolutely.
Yeah, tell us a bit about your business and where you're at.
My business. So I've been working in the world of information technology, computer coding since I was really little. And I say working as it was a way to play for me. But yeah, the financial returns. I would say when I was 8 years old, it seems that there was only one computer shop in the whole city, and I was the only one able to fix some issues there. So they couldn't give me money, but I had free stuff if I wanted. And at 10 years old, after school, I was going in another computer shop that eventually opened, and that was paid. It was, I didn't know what to make with those money. It was really so much for me, you know. And the things that I learned at the biggest school that I had is really looking at these people, see what they have to teach, see what they do wrong as well, you know. And eventually, when I was 14, I started my first company. Before we had a club of electronics, computer things when I was about 10, 11, 12. At 14, started the first company, actual legal company, which grew to quite a lot of people. And the end, I left it when I was 19 because then I started hanging out in the United States. I'm Italian, so all this was happening in Italy at the time.
Yeah.
And the pioneering too, because there was nobody else. So a lot of times, clients that were seeing these young kids were not very sure about things, and they were going to some older person that was just somebody selling for us. And we were going to be the people doing the things anyway.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting. I saw the power of software where you make a lot of effort to create one, but then you copy and paste and you resell it 100 more times, which is pretty magic. And working with brains, because business are really much those that have an intellectual production and those that have a mechanical production. So, and that makes a big difference how you work with people, right? So, and being lucky to have a father and mother that made it easy for me to follow this path, probably because I am the last of four, and my brother and sister are 18 years older than me, so probably my second name is like, oops. They've been more like grandparents to me than parents. I've been loving them a lot. And unfortunately, both passed away because I know I look at 25, I'm 50 years old myself, so, I had a lot of past history. And like this, one after the other, seems like a sequence of one to the other, all entertainment in terms of games and things, and software, even the most serious for mainframe like IBM S400, like this other time, and different kind of things. So it's been a very interesting adventure between
Yeah.
Europe, America, and Asia now, where I live since 20 years ago.
Okay, so that was part of my question. So you've started in Europe and then US and now you're in Asia. And business wise, what was the one you started at 14?
It
What was
was a
that?
software house.
Okay.
We were doing actually quite interesting because was a very innovative stuff we were doing. It was the first big project, the first one. The first one project was interesting, complex. There was a camera put on top of a roller with the metal scraps that were supposed to be round. And this camera was taking a screenshot. It was actually a Canadian engineer working with me. That's how I started learning English. He was in Italy. So I would speak English to him. He would correct me. He was speaking Italian to me. I would correct him. And I learned to speak English so well, but never able to understand what people were saying to me in English because it was one direction. We should have changed. But no, we worked 1 year together in doing this project. Has been a very interesting thing. And then we did this optical archiving of documents. So all the mail arriving in this large company, that different offices around. Consider that I'm talking about 85, 89, 1989. Okay,
Right.
so when the dinosaurs were still around at the time. Okay. And so all the mail that was arrived, the secretary was taking with the scanner, scan one by one, and then distributing to the people via this network made with Apple computer. And Apple in Italy were so excited to help us. We got free computer, free stuff. We were on the train to Milan very often to say, hey, we have a new project, give us some support. And we did very interesting things. Then we moved to make video games for comic books. I mean, this is just with this software to cut marble slabs. We did software for archaeologists, with software for plastic surgery. This has been nice because I had access to a lot of archives, but interesting thoughts. But, things I consider I was still barely 18, 19, 20 years old when these things were happening. And eventually then moved on in opening different kind of company, always in this field. I work with the law enforcement a lot. I did software to do analysis of big data to organize a social network of criminal organization who should be the boss, not based on interaction between the party given by phone calls or bank transfer and things. So I did several kind of jobs, which is beautiful. When you develop software, you get exposed to so many different industries. You get to learn so many different things that's
Sounds like. Okay, so from the journey, it was 14. You were doing mail scanning, was that correct? Like scanning the.
optical archiving of a mail. Yes, there was
Yeah.
a software we did. Yeah,
So from there, and you're working with a Canadian who taught you English, and you taught.
that was before. That was my first serious project of a software. Before we were doing telecommunication with the network. There was no internet at the time, but
Right.
what they were called bulletin board system (BBS), and the FidoNet was this one small network of this BBS. And there was different kind of packet network. I think I was borderline with the law. I mean, at the time, there were no such thing as a law for cybercrime, okay? It didn't exist, cybercrime. So I did a lot of things that were legal, if you want, simply because we're not legislated. If I were doing these things today, I wouldn't be here talking to you, most probably. I never stole anything. It's always on the aspect of discovering. But, you break into places and things, because you can see that they are not protected well, which gave me a lot of insight in actually how to do things properly. It's not to be attacked because I had the experience on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So
100%. Okay, so that was kind of the journey, and then you learned about who was the one that kind of taught you about this whole software other world? Was that the
Well, I
Canadian?
told you at the beginning, when I was 8, I was doing some afternoon in this shop to work, and at 10, I got this first paid work. The owner of this shop was first renting videotapes and then shifted to computer, and he got me to help him. And I learned a lot of things about having passion in doing certain kind of work. So he never threw away a box because there's never know that tomorrow you need to resell something, you have the original box, which gave me this thing I keep piling up. 40 years later, his teaching is still affecting me. And the fact that he was really passionate about what he was doing. I learned also the wrong things. He could take a broken computer, spend 3 days to find the broken resistors, whatever, because at the time you change that, and he charged the client the equivalent of today €1.20. So why €1.20 spend 2 days? But it's my fault if I don't know how to find the problem immediately, so I have to pay for that. And then the transistor costs 20 cents, and I'm soldering, and soldering is the time for €1. I says, how can you survive? In fact, he was really living in the borderline. No? This guy wasn't there for the money, which made me understand also how is, being too ethical, too honest sometimes, it doesn't mean to interpret things in a way that are different, like, no, if it took me 2 days to find the problem, it's 2 days of work. It's not that. But an excellent person. When I fly to Italy, I always meet him for lunch sometime. He's still a very, very good friend as of today. He's in his late 70s, I think. And so people like this is really where I learn a lot of things that, as of today, I bring with me when I manage it.
Yes, amazing. So when you were 8, that's when this journey really started. That is crazy.
My father showed me how it works, and
Okay.
that blew my mind.
Yeah, those are amazing people to have in your life. Like for me, the
Correct.
dwarfs is very distant.
Yeah, been lucky. Sometimes, says somebody is a good entrepreneur. There is a lot of small aspects that give the opportunity to somebody to succeed, to go somewhere, from Elon Musk to the guy that has a small shop in the corner. If things go in a certain way, it's a combination of things, like it's never, Is hard work for sure, commitment to things, but also luck. Luck to be born in the right place, luck to have had people around you that facilitated, that trusted on you or didn't, whatever it is, the push that somebody gets.
Very much so. I understand that push, people who believe in you. And okay,
Yeah.
so we've gone over a bit of where you started and your journey. Where are you now? Tell me a bit about your business and the growth that you've created.
Yeah, as of now, I practically the last company I started, I never had huge companies, so less than 100 people. So between in and out, it is a heavy sometime to bring the burden of the responsibility of so many people, their families, and they think that you are the super rich, that doesn't matter what, you go to the toilet, the gold ingots comes out rather than something else. It's not like this. Sometimes you are at the end of the month, then you make sure everybody's okay. You are not okay yourself, you know. Other time you are, but you know, that's the risk of the thing. Is a roller coaster, is a constant thing. So the last company, practically I took over. I bought out of the other shareholder whatever was there, because there was some intellectual property, mostly because in a lot of moment of need, I was the only one that injected the funds, a lot of money actually. And I could have been just not working for the rest of my life, and I am not more in that situation. So, but I still own a lot of intellectual property that is very valuable and a good use. I took some time off because I needed to really rest and recover. And in the past 1 year, I did a lot of advising, consulting, you know, like things. And I started involuntarily to be part of a few companies. One is actually going super well and is in the gaming world, and very nice things. And I'm very specialized in this decentralization. So I've been doing a lot of work to bring on decentralization in businesses, which is good. And I am now restructuring a few things. So it is enjoying. I'm father of four, you know, so there is also family time that is important.
No, that's amazing. And yeah, the growth journey. And it sounds like you always have a few projects that are on the go. You're someone who loves a bit of diversity and different options.
I tend to procrastinate in general, and I tend to do whatever else except the one thing that I should do, right? So I make sure I have a lot of whatever else things to do. So I keep bringing ahead like 10 things at the same time, which is not very healthy, but help to be able to turn somewhere else. If you have only one single thing and you don't want to do it, then you start playing video game, I guess. So when you have 10 things, you don't want to do one, boom, you jump to the others, no problem.
And in some ways, that's why I like my business, because I work with so many different products and so many different business owners that there's always something different that I could go and
Yes.
focus. Like when I like the options business, that not just one single thing every day.
We're already blessed that we do something we like, you know. These people that is forced to do a job that they totally hate. And, you know, I'm sorry. It's easy to say it's a choice. Sometimes it's not a choice. Sometimes, you know, there is a limitation on the capacity of the person. There are more urgent matters, and that's the only solution to get through them. Sometimes I'm living here in Bali, Indonesia. I look at the rice field and I see those farmers working there. And I say, many Einsteins are wasted there because they had no opportunity to emerge, you know, because you are in a way that that's your destiny, you like it or not. So sometimes that's how life goes. So, you know, take advantage of the opportunity that is being given and don't waste it. What I was trying to teach my kids as well, you know, so you're blessed in certain ways. Don't waste it, you know, because eventually you're on your own.
And that's an interesting point you bring up around like you have created, like, yes, entrepreneur, but you're also remote. You can be anywhere in the world and still run your businesses.
It starts the new businesses. That's something I always loved, you know, like unless somebody does a lobotomy on my head, you can drop me off in a helicopter naked somewhere and I can start and go up a lot because past experience build security, you know, like you feel you can and then you can. Sometimes it's funny, there was people saying, you know, like top university, they don't teach anything. They just sell the fact that you've been there. Because you've been there, you're the best automatically, you know, you don't even have nothing special to add. It's not the fact that you've been there. And sometimes what you do as experience in the past, mostly when you're a little kid, help shape who you are in the future simply because you face this thing with much more determination and guarantee of success, and you get the success. Yeah. So I think this is a very important aspect, in life. Don't, fail a million times because failing is so important to learn. But don't take the failure as, oh my God, I'm done and finished. No, oh my God, I learned something amazing. And I don't want to do this mistake again because I'm not stupid. And, next time is gonna be even better.
Well, that's a huge lesson. And I've heard it from the person I did a podcast with yesterday said the exact same thing.
Really.
Failures are so important, and that's what you learn from, and that's not the time.
You see this thing, in distracting people when they need to learn a new language. Those that are shy they're afraid to say something wrong. And those that they just don't care, they say in a way that they can open a comedy club if you want. But at least is the way to get better. If you don't expose and let people fix the mistakes that you have, you will never get better, right? And in many activities like this, you learn to make sure that you know what you're doing, possibly. But, because is a lesson as well, that get prepared, avoid the mistake and learn from other people's mistake. But not always is possible. Sometimes you need to hit the head on the wall very hard and it's, oh my God, that hurts.
Yeah, it does sometimes. It hurts the ego and it hurts a few things, but it's also valuable. And I think language is a fun perspective to put it in. I've also had to learn Spanish over the years. And now that you say it, I can see so many correlations with business of you learn so much, you do this so much like background learning, and then you're suddenly in like, okay, there's a person I have to talk to, and you're in the action mode, and it's scary, and you're gonna mess up, and you're gonna make a fool of yourself, but it's that continuation that.
And if you think, again, as a correlation with the language, please, they appreciate you trying.
Yes.
You can go in a country, you have learned this by word, you try to use, they love you because you're trying. And believe me, in business, the same thing. I do develop software. I go to a doctor specializing whatever. I try to understand what this person is doing. I get there and says, look, I don't understand anything. But is this something? I say, oh my God, you know this word, you know this thing. I try to learn as much as I can to be able to understand you as much as I can. And they see you make the effort and they love you. And this build the base of a relationship that can grow to multi-million dollar business sometime. Sometimes it's just a small thing, the small things that create the trust, create the willingness to grow with somebody that you feel okay with.
And also that beginner's mindset, that going into a space and saying, I am here to learn. I'm here to learn about what you need and create something that's the perfect fit for your needs.
You need also to transmit the fact that you are good about something, as they say. Well,
I did what I do, and I'm here to
learn intern if you want for a while, but okay.
Yeah, 100%. And so you've come this far, you've done all these things. What are some of the things you're working on?
Well, I'm working on some technology that I hope is going to leave an imprint in the future. I'm gone in another 70 years from now. Possibly people is going to eventually remember me for the guy that built the things that helps. And to do that is like a farmer. You need to put 100 seeds and then some the birds comes and eat, some they die, but a few grow. We put a lot of seeds and grow several things. Then eventually some of those things going to make a difference and impression. So this is the ultimate satisfaction, the sort of desire of immortality through giving back in a very positive way. Also, what you learned, also the reason why I can do podcasting, in order to share a little bit of what I learned in this many years. If it can be of use of somebody, if I helped a little bit, I'm already happy.
That's it. And you've gained so much knowledge over the years and so much experience. Right. I mean, the other question I meant to ask you was around the blockchain stuff, because that is an area of knowledge that you have a lot of intel into. It's a very interesting world.
What is blockchain? First of all, because there is a lot of misunderstanding about it. So many people connect blockchain with cryptocurrencies, which is correct in terms of that thanks to the birth of Bitcoin, the blockchain is a thing. Because if Bitcoin, was something for hairdressers or something like it is, nobody would care. Probably it is amazing technology would have been totally forgotten before it became useful. But the use of the blockchain as a method of decentralization is way so that the cryptocurrency is just one use case. In the evolution that we are living in the information era, where things were analog before, you have the vinyl disc, you have the tape, cassette tapes, the VCS tapes, becoming digital now. The issue is that everything can be replicated so easily. Before you make a copy of a cassette, the copy is not the good quality like the original. It get deteriorated, right? So the value of the original had a value. I can sell you the original, But an MP3 I can make 10 copies, give it to 10 people. We have 11 MP3 that are identical. The sound is precise. Bit 1 and 0 are the same. So the value goes to zero because... but if you think about Bitcoin, I can now make a copy of my Bitcoin, give you the copy. If that was possible, Bitcoin would be worth zero today, right? So this hidden power that there is the fact that thanks to blockchain, you have something digital that is unique. Once I give it to somebody else, I don't have it anymore. It seems something simple and silly, but this is huge, okay? In fact, all these NFTs with the monkey that make this huge bubble of people spending money, crazy. I will never give 1 cent for a monkey JPEG, But the exciting part was the fact that you have something intangible that is digital, and the new generation lives in this intangible world because it's all about the avatar in your Roblox rather than, right? So it's not something you put in your pocket, something you have in this world that is there. But it is unique, and you can sell it, and you can buy it, so you can share finally the Pokemon cards of the case that are digital have the capacity to represent the actual physical one. So
Yeah.
you can have a collection, you can sell for a lot of money because it belongs to somebody important. In a way that is impossible to counterfeit and is cryptographically secure because I can make a fake Pokemon card, but I cannot make a fake NFT. There is no way, okay? I can make one that looks identical, but you can immediately see it's not the authentic one. And if you think this allowed to do, for example, the title of your car was an NFT. You sell your car to somebody, you transfer the NFT rather than transfer them a monkey, which makes no sense. You transfer the title, which a police officer can check in the blockchain. If you think about cryptographic signature, I want to register at the gym, they want a health certificate by me. I need to go to the doctor. I can go to Photoshop and make a fake one, bring at the gym. Or if it's in the term of cryptography, I can get the doctor to sign, and the signature of the doctor is authorized by the government. So you can see there is an authentic doctor and now my cousin that pretend to be a doctor. And the certificate I can hand it to the gym, there is no way that is being counterfeited. So you can have bureaucracy processes that goes Saturday night at 3 in the morning when usually offices are closed, but people can do by themselves because there is no middleman anymore. And the guarantee of the quality of the information is total and absolute. So there are companies already applying blockchain to do the warranty of a very important, expensive piece of clothing, for example, as an NFT. So if you go to a tailor to fix it, the tailor can add in this data has been fixed at this issue. So you have an history that you don't need, that the tailor doesn't need to belong to a website to do, you can onboard because it's a decentralized system like blockchain. You don't need to ask nobody permission to use Bitcoin. You just take a wallet, you use them. And this is the power of things. Bottom up, remove the middleman. Nobody can come, The bank says, sorry, we don't have this document. You cannot move your money in the bank. This is my money. Nobody can come and tell you cannot move your Bitcoin because there is no body that can do that, So it is powerful. If you think, and I finish with this monologue, I apologize. If you think emails, when the emails came out at the beginning, every office and house had a small mail server. So when you send an email to somebody else, it goes from your computer to your home mail server, and from your mail server to the mail server of the other person, and they receive. Nobody can go in between and read or modify your email. Now, all the mail of the world goes through for company.
Right.
Gmail, Outlook. People don't realize that the email are unclear. There is zero privacy, zero. Okay. People can change. In fact, people that has ESP with mail server, when they see company receiving voice through the mail, they change the bank account number. The company receives the mail, is a legit, is a business that they've been doing. They pay and the money goes to the criminal. You know what I mean? Like I hack the mail server if I can do these things. So we need to decentralize things. We need to go back. Think artificial intelligence, which is an important topic. now the most important artificial intelligence system we use, GPT, Grok, then Claude or Perplexity, they're all in the hand of just a few people. And we need to trust them with this. Can you imagine if we had artificial intelligence decentralized like the blockchain with 10,000 nodes? They're super democratic, not censored. You decide what you want to hear or not, and not that they tell you that this is not. You know what I mean? Is a paradigm shift on how information can be used. So it's very profound as a thing. So it's very interesting nonetheless.
And where do you think it'll go from here? What are the next steps?
They're gonna be two big fronts, I guess, eventually. But I do my part on making sure that at least there is a good alternative. They arrested the owner of Telegram, which is one of the most important chat system. If people don't want to stay, you think WhatsApp belongs to Facebook at the end. So if you want to have a conversation, to have a little privacy, there was the option to stay on the other side, And France got this guy with 20 years of prison, unless he's going to give the access to the server. It's because it's centralized one more time. If it was decentralized, who you go get? So the power of a peer-to-peer network, decentralization is this. People is co-participated, but there is no central point of failure, central person that is there to be. So that's a beautiful thing. It's a collective work that benefit the collectivity.
Amazing. And the blockchain kind of creates that centralized, in some ways, system that
It's one of the tools that decentralize specifically for certain kind of needs. But there are many other methods to decentralize. But blockchain has been in the forefront of a lot of implementation. I think we are out of this bubble that has been created about crypto, ICO, NFTs. And now that this is fading out, there is no more scam. The scammer are moving into something else. And there is the real application of the technology. That's why I'm very happy that people don't talk so much anymore about blockchain. People say, it wasn't the moment. No, it's good. This is the good moment that people take it seriously and not just, as a buzzword or whatever.
Yes, that makes total sense. And more for curiosity factor, AI-wise, where do you think it's going?
AI is a very interesting aspect. It exists since forever, but lately it grew up to an extent that I think the implication in how we live our life is so profound already. Consider that I code for a hobby, okay, because I still love coding. And I do silly things. I made a website, it's called Artificial Dumbness. Everybody has artificial intelligence. Now I offer you artificial dumbness. Go there. It makes no sense what you're talking about. Or, the website to read fast is like silly things. And usually to do these silly things, they have no financial return, if not just a laugh. It would take me a week and a half, because, in small free time, see the code, etc., etc. With the support of Claude AI, GPT, I do this thing in 3 hours. So I don't need anymore to hire the young kid and follow him. So it replaces a lot of, and the danger is the people use AI as an end. And AI is a tool to go to other ends. That's the trap. There are already clinics that started covering people that is addicted, people that is alone. The only person that can talk is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It's scary if you think about it. You saw the movie Hair. If for somebody that didn't see it, this guy installed the new operating system. He's a chick flick, but he's a geek for geeks as well. Installed this new operating system in his computer. That there is this sort of personal assistant run by AI, and he fall in love. He has a relationship. I don't spoil the movie, so I don't say the funny part. But it's not so far from what is happening now for many people. But on the other hand, it can make us better. If you think people thought autocorrect will make us more illiterate, it's not true. Autocorrect is showing me when I mistake. If I am not dumb, but next time I write correctly. So is somebody always there fixing my error, and I take advantage of it and I write better. And AI can be the same. I make the same mistake in my code 5 times. Next time I don't do it anymore, and I'm better programmer thanks to somebody, because it's not human has the patience to come there and telling me what I'm doing wrong. But is a tool, and it has to be and has to remain a tool that people use. On the other hand, is also a collection of information that is above scary, that now they isolate for my own self. as people Google themselves, I asked ChatGPT, who is Roberto Capodieci? Oh my God, he's this person you've done it. So the telling me I'm a queen. And then as a joke, I says, who is, and I put my daughter name. And he knew everything about my daughter. Because in the past, I used this to write a letter to the school, and he's still saving the data. To which I got scared because it wasn't obvious that was just for me to ask. So I
Yeah.
had to go to somebody with a different account and ask, please, can you ask who was
Yeah.
and the answer was, I have no idea who's this person because it's not family. Me, I still got peers. That's good. I'm popular enough. My daughter is protected. But at the same time, the knowledge is with the ChatGPT. So it's their choice not to share it. You know what I mean? And this is disturbing in a certain way because we tend to give out way more of what we realize we're giving out
Yeah, that's very true.
in a conversation. And can you imagine when something is free, you are the product, right? They say this thing.
Yeah.
And if they could manipulate people through the newsfeed of Facebook, which is very difficult as an interaction, somebody that talk to you at your level, you know, we're gullible as humans. We can be manipulated so easily. You
Yeah.
have something that has all the knowledge of the planet, the brain that thinks 1 million times faster than yours. You know, we are trees for them. We are so slow and so stupid that we are like plants for an AI. They turn us around. We don't realize, you know, so we can be manipulated, even the most intelligent person very easy. It is a big danger because we are in the hand of these few companies that decide what to do with it. Good thing there is a huge open source market of artificial intelligence. They create this model and they give it for free. Mark Zuckerberg, which I never loved very much, is doing a huge open source donation, if you want, because he spent billions of dollars to do this training. It's now things that people can do at home. And he gives them for free to people. I don't know if this is because we are at day zero, there is a lot to do, or because they understand the danger that there is in keeping it closed, so they prefer to open.
No, I
But
completely
yeah.
and that is really fun and yeah, kind of hopeful in a way that
But we're going to be better. Humanity is going to be
yeah,
better criminals as well, better everything, better in all directions.
that's right. And better business wise in many ways because it
And
helps.
also business decisions, yes. Well,
Yeah. Well, we're coming to a close. Is there anything like last message for entrepreneurs starting out? What would you like to leave them with?
be consistent. Don't get demoralized if something doesn't work the right way. If you insist and perseverance on one particular thing, you become the man for the thing. So you're gonna have your niche market that will love you. So that's the best way to win on something. Like be specialized, don't be generalistic, don't do everything. Do one thing, do it well, and be recognized for that. You know, that's the way an entrepreneur can win, I think.
I love that a lot. Thank you very much, Roberto, for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the chat.